Hello everyone, this is Tom from Dirk Witte Music Store in Utrecht, the Netherlands, and today we are taking a look at this very fine Fender Custom Shop electric guitar. This is a 1955 reissue Fender Stratocaster in a stunning white blonde relic finish from the year 2024. So obviously this guitar does not look to be 2 years old due to the heavy aging that has been done in the Fender Custom Shop, which looks and feels really fantastic. White blonde, you don't see that all too often, but it is a very cool color, and then also having it aged, that is some nice stuff right there. So a really cool guitar. He got it in used, given that this is 2 years old, apart from obviously it being aged, it is pretty much in a mint condition. I know it's very hard to tell like if it is indeed mint or not, but the case at the very least is in just a perfect shape. It even has the foam protection on the handle. So I'm guessing that this guitar is then also just as new as that, or like in as new of a condition. Again, even though it is relic and it doesn't look new. But a really fine Strat, obviously from the Fender Custom Shop, so really kind of like of the highest grade, and then based on a 1955 one. So it has those types of specs, meaning yeah, like the wood combination and the neck profile, but it also has just a few like modern details, or like modern touches, making it just a little bit more modern player friendly. Just resulting in a very fine aged Fender Custom Shop Stratocaster. So let's dive into the specs of this very fine Strat. So we have got an ash body, which is also a really nice weight, quite lightweight. I'm guessing that this is around 3 kilos or something like that, like in between 3 and 3.5. Don't know from the top of my head what the scale said. But feels really great, and you can also, due to the white blonde color on the body, which obviously again is beautifully aged, like you can see all of that beautiful finish checking, and due to it being a white blonde, you can also see the wood grain. So you can see the wood grain of that beautiful ash body, that ash wood, which looks really nice. We have then got, let's see, a just white plastic, as you would also see in this year that this guitar is based on, 1955. So a single ply white pickguard, as well as then white pickup covers, white knobs, all of that stuff. The pickups, these are some really high quality Fender Custom Shop hand-wired 50s Strat pickups. Which are then also a little bit relic, like the pole pieces are just looking a little bit faded and a little bit aged, as well as the plastics. They have a little bit of a, yeah, not so perfectly stark white sheen to them, but they sound really great, but also then very much traditional, like very much vintage style, like 50s style. So like no noiseless things going on, or reverse wired polarity, like just very much as they came way back in the 1950s. Moving on to the bridge, that is a vibrato style for bridge, also again very much traditional and vintage style, also then of really kind of like the highest quality from the Fender Custom Shop, but also nothing modern going on, just as they came also way back in the 1950s, or in 1955 to be more specific. We are lacking a back cover. I'm not sure if that is in the case included or not, but you do have the screw hole, so if it is included, then you can obviously then put that back on there if you would like, but I think that this also looks really cool. We have then got also quite traditional wiring and controls, apart from it having a 5-way switch instead of a 3-way switch. Yeah, we've just got a master volume control and a tone control for your neck pickup, and then this tone control is actually for your middle and for your bridge pickup, so that is also a little bit more of a modern touch. Just gives you a little bit more tonal options, so that you can kind of like tone down or roll back the brightness of that bridge pickup just a little bit if you would like, which I think is really useful, because sometimes these can sound a little bit harsh and a little bit brittle, so to then be able to turn that down, that's quite nice. And again, a 5-way pickup, a selector switch so that you can get all of those in between tones that we all know and love from the Fender Stratocaster, that you would not get on a Fender Stratocaster from the 1950s or even up until like the early 1980s, because they traditionally came with a 3-way pickup, a selector switch, so you couldn't get the pickups combined. So to then have that on this guitar is quite nice. Object here on the front, also very much traditional and nothing too crazy. Your strap buttons, and then the neck, that is a maple neck with a maple fingerboard. Obviously it is also aged, as we can definitely tell. You can see all of those dark spots that are then applied in the factory, in the Fender custom shop, to make it look like it has been played for many years. Also there on the back of the neck, it is very smooth feeling because it has been like treated or aged into this smooth satin finish, so that you can feel like the bare wood almost. Again, it feels really nice. This profile, this is yeah, not super baseball bat territory or anything like that, but it is a little bit chunky, and it also has a very subtle V to it. When it comes to Fender Stratocasters or even to Fender guitars, when you think V profile, people tend to think 1957, but this is then based on a 1955. But it feels really nice. That is the most important thing. Like it is not too big. I think that most people would be just fine with this size, even though it is a little bit chunky. And again, it has that very subtle V to it, but overall it is really nicely rounded. So a really nice feeling neck. Again, also a maple fingerboard, and what also then is a little bit of a modern touch is that the fingerboard radius is a little bit flatter at 9.5 inches as opposed to 7.25 inches as they came for a very long time, Fender guitars being. So it is a little bit more band friendly, which I think is a really welcome bonus. The fret wire is then described as medium vintage, so not quite vintage, because vintage frets tend to be quite skinny and quite small, but these are also then just a little bit more modern friendly for modern players, so also a very welcome bonus. Got a bone nut and a very beautiful, also equally as aged headstock with your Fender Stratocaster decal, obviously, and the vintage style tuners, also obviously being a little bit aged. And then we've got your Fender Custom Shop decal over there on the back of the headstock. And last thing to mention, as I also said way in the beginning, it also comes with its original hardshell case, which is a tweed hardshell case with a really fine blue interior, COA included. So yeah, you really got the full package with this very fine Fender Custom Shop aged Fender Stratocaster. So a really fine guitar. Yeah, really cool. Like there's not all that much to like say about this, like being super unique, anything like that. It is just a really cool vintage inspired Fender Stratocaster. Like it has a really cool look, this vintage white blonde finish with that aging going on that just looks really tasteful, and it also just feels really nice in the hand. And yeah, just a really fantastic player. Like if you're really looking for that vintage aesthetic and that vintage tone, but also then with just a hint of modern playability, a really cool guitar for you to consider. So really fine Fender Stratocaster. Let's hear what it sounds like. But first, if you're interested in this 2024 Fender Custom Shop 1955 aged Stratocaster in a stunning white blonde finish, be sure to head over to the links in the description for further details. If you enjoyed this demo, be sure to like the video and to subscribe to the channel for more cool weekly demos of very cool electric guitars like these, or cool acoustics, bass guitars even, all that really cool stuff. Also be sure to like us and follow us on our socials, Instagram and Facebook. Links are also in the description. With all that being said, let's say about this really fine Fender Custom Shop Relic 1955 Stratocaster sounds like. Going to be playing it through this late 1970s Pro reverb. And yeah, listen here what this very fine Fender Custom Shop Stratocaster all has in store for us. So let's then move on to that part and let's then take it for a spin.